Genghis Khan, born Temüjin, c. 1162, the 25th of August, 1227, also known as Genghis Khan, was the founder and first Khagan of the Mongol Empire, which later became the largest contiguous land empire in history. Having spent the majority of his life uniting the Mongol tribes, he launched a series of military campaigns which conquered large parts of China and Central Asia. Born between 1155 and 1167 and given the name of Temüjin, he was the oldest child of Yesugei, a Mongol chieftain of the Borjigin clan, and his wife Holun of the Olkhunuds. Yesugei died when Temüjin was 8, and his family was abandoned by their tribe in the Mongol steppe. Temüjin gradually built up a small following and allied with Jamuka and Togrul, two other Mongol chieftains, in campaigns against other tribes. Due to the erratic nature of the sources, this period of Temüjin's life is uncertain. The alliances with Jamuka and Togrul failed completely in the early 13th century, but Temüjin was able to defeat both and claim sole rulership of the Mongol tribes. He formally adopted the name Genghis Khan at a Kurultai in 1206. With the tribes fully united under his command, Genghis Khan expanded eastwards. He vassalized the western Jia state by 1211 and then invaded the Jin dynasty in northern China, forcing the Jin emperor to abandon the northern half of his kingdom in 1214. Mongol forces annexed the Kara Kitai Khanate in 1218, allowing Genghis Khan to lead an invasion of the neighboring Khwarezmian Empire the following year. The invading Mongols toppled the Khwarezmian state and devastated the regions of Transoxania and Khorasan, while an expedition penetrated as far as Georgia and the Kievan Rus. Genghis Khan died in 1227 while besieging the rebellious western Jia. His third son and heir Ogadai succeeded to the throne 2 years later.
The Mongol campaign started by Genghis Khan saw widespread destruction and millions of deaths in the areas they conquered. The Mongol army he built was renowned for its flexibility, discipline, and organization, while his empire established upon meritocratic principles. Genghis Khan also codified the Mongol legal system, promoted religious tolerance, and encouraged pan-Eurasian trade through the Pax Mongolica. He is revered and honored in modern Mongolia as a symbol of national identity and a central figure of Mongolian culture.
Genghis Khan is an honorary title meaning universal ruler that represents an aggrandization of the pre-existing title of Khan that is used to denote a clan chief in Mongolian. The appellation of Genghis to the term is thought to derive from the Turkic word Tengiz, meaning sea, making the honorary title literally oceanic ruler, but understood more broadly as a metaphor for the universality or totality of Temüjin's rule from a Mongol perspective. There is no standardized system of transliterating original Mongolian names into English. Many different systems continue to be in use today, resulting in modern spellings that often differ considerably from the original pronunciation.
According to the secret history of the Mongols, Genghis Khan's birth name Temüjin Mongolian pronunciation, Temüjin, came from the Tatar chief Temüjin Ugay, whom his father had just captured. His birth name is most commonly spelt Temüjin in English, although Temüjin is also sometimes used. The name Temüjin is also equated with the Turco-Mongol Temurchi, blacksmith, and there existed a tradition that viewed Genghis Khan as a smith, according to Paul Pelliot, which, though unfounded, was well established by the middle of the 13th century.
The year of Temüjin's birth is disputed, as historians favor different dates, 1155, 1162, or 1167. Some traditions place his birth in the year of the pig, which was either 1155 or 1167. While a dating to 1155 is supported by the writings of both Rashid al-Din and the Chinese diplomat Zhao Hong, other major sources such as the Yuan Shi and the Sheng Wu favor the year 1162. The 1167 dating, favored by Paul Pelliot, is derived from a minor source, a text of the Yuan artist Yang Weizhen, but is far more compatible with the events of Genghis Khan's life. For example, an 1155 placement implies that he did not have children until after the age of 30, and continued actively campaigning into his 7th decade. Nevertheless, Pelliot was not certain of the accuracy of his theory, which remains controversial. The historian Paul Rachnevsky notes that Temüjin himself may not have known the truth. The location of Temüjin's birth is similarly debated. The secret history records his birthplace as Deluan Bulldog on the Onon River, but this has been placed at either Dadal in Khenti province or in southern Agin Buryat Okrug, Russia.
Temüjin was born into the Borjigin clan to Yesugei, a chieftain descended from the revered warlord Bodanchar Munkag, and his principal wife Holun, originally of the Ulkonud clan, whom Yesugei had abducted from her Merkit bridegroom Chiledu. The origin of his birth name is contested. The earliest traditions hold that his father had just returned from a successful expedition against the Tatars, with a captive named Temüjin Ugj, after whom he named the newborn in celebration of his victory, while later traditions highlight the root Temur, meaning iron, also present in the names of two of his siblings, and connect to theories that Temüjin means blacksmith. Several legends surround Temüjin's birth. The most prominent is that of a blood clot he clutched in his hand as he was born, an Asian folklorish motif which indicated the child would be a warrior. Others claimed that Holun was impregnated by a ray of light which announced the child's destiny, a legend which echoed that of the mythical ancestor Alan Gua. Yesugei and Holun had 3 younger sons after Temüjin, Kasar, Hachiun, and Temüje, as well as 1 daughter, Temulen. Temüjin also had 2 half-brothers, Beter and Belgute, from Yesugei's second wife Sochigel, whose identity is uncertain. The siblings grew up at Yesugei's main camp on the banks of the Onon, where they learned how to ride a horse and shoot a bow.
When Temüjin was 8 years old, Yesugei decided to betroth him to a suitable girl. He took his heir to the pastures of the prestigious Ongarat tribe, which Holun had been born into, and arranged a marriage between Temüjin and Borte, the daughter of an Ongarat chieftain named Dei Sechin. As the betrothal meant Yesugei would gain a powerful ally, and as Borte commanded a high bride price, Dei Sechin held the stronger negotiating position and demanded that Temüjin remain in his household to work off his future bride's dowry. While riding homewards alone, having accepted this condition, Yesugei requested a meal from a band of Tatars he encountered, relying on the steppe tradition of hospitality to strangers. However, the Tatars recognized their old enemy and slipped poison into his food. Yesugei gradually sickened but managed to return home. Close to death, he requested a trusted retainer called Munglig to retrieve Temüjin from the Ongarat. He died soon after.
Yesugei's death shattered the unity of his people. As Temüjin was only around 10, and Beter around 2 years older, neither was considered old enough to rule. Led by the widows of Ambagai, a previous Mongol Khan, a Taichiud faction excluded Holun from the ancestor worship ceremonies which followed a ruler's death and soon abandoned the camp. The secret history relates that the entire Borjigin clan followed, despite Holun's attempts to shame them into staying with her family. Rashid al-Din and the Shengwu Qinzheng Lu, however, imply that Yesugei's brothers stood by the widow. It is possible that Holun may have refused to join in levirate marriage with one, or that the author of the secret history dramatized the situation. All the sources agree that most of Yesugei's people renounced his family in favor of the Taichiuds, and that Holun's family were reduced to a much harsher life. Taking up a traditional hunter-gatherer lifestyle, they collected roots and nuts, hunted for small animals, and caught fish. Tensions developed as the children grew older. Both Temüjin and Beter had claims to be their father's heir. Although Temüjin was the child of Yesugei's chief wife, Beter was at least 2 years his senior. There was even the possibility that, as permitted under levirate law, Beter could marry Holun upon attaining his majority and become Temüjin's stepfather. As the friction, exacerbated by regular disputes over the division of hunting spoils, intensified, Temüjin and his younger brother Kasar ambushed and killed Beter. This taboo act was omitted from the official chronicles, but not from the secret history, which recounts that Holun angrily reprimanded her sons. Beter's younger full brother Belgute did not seek vengeance and became one of Temüjin's highest-ranking followers alongside Kasar.
Around this time, Temüjin developed a close friendship with Jamuka, another boy of aristocratic descent. The secret history notes that they exchanged knucklebones and arrows as gifts and swore the Anda Pact, the traditional oath of Mongol blood brothers at the age of 11. As the family lacked allies, Temüjin was likely taken prisoner on multiple occasions. The secret history relates one such occasion when he was captured by the Taichiuds, who had abandoned him after his father's death. Escaping during a Taichiud feast, he hid first in the river Onon and then in the tent of Sorkan Shira, a man who had seen him in the river and not raised the alarm. Sorkhan Shira sheltered Temüjin for 3 days at great personal risk before allowing him to escape. Temüjin was assisted on another occasion by an adolescent named Boorchu, who aided him in retrieving stolen horses. Soon afterwards, Boorchu joined Temüjin's camp as his first nokor, personal companion, PL Nokod. These incidents are indicative of the emphasis the author of Secret History put on personal charisma.
Around this time, Temüjin developed a close friendship with Jamuka, another boy of aristocratic descent. The Secret History notes that they exchanged knucklebones and arrows as gifts and swore the Anda Pact, the traditional oath of Mongol blood brothers, at the age of 11. Accompanied by Belgute, Temüjin returned to Dei Sechen to marry Borta when he became an adult at 15. The Ongirat chieftain, delighted to see the son-in-law he feared had been lost, immediately consented to the marriage and accompanied the newlyweds back to Temüjin's camp. His wife Khotan presented Holon with a black sable cloak, a sign of great wealth. Seeking a patron, he then chose to approach Togrul, Khan of the Karate tribe, who had fought alongside Yesuge and sworn the Anda Pact with him. Togrul ruled hundreds of miles and commanded up to 20,000 warriors, but he was suspicious of the loyalty of his chief followers, and, after being presented with the sable cloak, he welcomed Temüjin into his protection. The two grew close, and Temüjin began to build a following, as nokods such as Jelme entered into his service.